I'm very impressed that Woodstock Chimes is making an autism chime. I think that the more we can create awareness about autism, the more acceptance we have for autistic individuals. And in the case of some of the proceeds going to autism research or programs with autism, the funding is essential. I mean, money is necessary for wisdom. And we still have so many unanswered questions about autism, which is why the international symbol for autism and the symbol that's on the chime is the puzzle piece, because autism is still a puzzle. We're puzzled about what causes it. We're puzzled about how to treat it. We're puzzled about the outcomes. And we're not going to get answers to those questions unless we have research dollars dedicated to finding them out. Well, one of the questions is what causes autism? Which genes create a greater likelihood for autism? What environmental factors create greater opportunity for autism to appear? And those environmental factors can be, in possibly the water, or they could be medications that parents take when they're pregnant, when the mother's pregnant. There could be, a combination of genetic predisposition and environmental factors that would affect one family differently than another family. We don't have medication expressly for autism. Autism is caused by many different things, so it makes sense that there be many different medications that might help. But in the world of pharmacology, we still have many needs for medications and for information about other interventions that might be useful. I'm excited because now there's terrific research happening all around the world, and we're getting these little pieces of information almost every week now. And, of course, it's a puzzle, and they're all little pieces of the puzzle, and it's going to take years before we have enough of those little pieces to put it together and have a full picture. But to see more of these pieces of important information becoming understood, it's a very exciting time to care about autism and to be part of the autism community. I'll tell you a story of my first student with autism. He's now almost 40 years old, and he was in my program the third year of my program's history, and he did not have a diagnosis. And we could not figure out why his learning style was so different. He had remarkable parents, and we worked very closely with the parents to finally get a diagnosis of autism after several doctors told the parents that not to worry, he would grow out of it. And then he really was one of the two students that put us on the course of specializing in autism. And eventually his mother started working at the school, so she became one of my teacher aides. And I've developed, over the years, a very close relationship with this family because being my first student, his mother working at the school. And I've stayed in touch with them over the years, and I'm still in close contact with them. And talk about remarkable parents. His parents were really dedicated to trying to understand him. And one of his perseverative behaviors, and by perseverative behavior I mean a behavior that he could not control. It was a high interest area that he obsessed over, was reflective light. So if he would go into a room and there would be light reflecting through the window a particular way, it didn't matter what other tasks we were asking him to do, or, what the directions were. He was just fascinated by this reflective light. When he'd walk into a room, he'd flip the light switch on and off again to get, a light show. And when we rewarded him for doing good work, we would find reactive toys that had to do with light. When he was an older student at my school, we had a pre-vocational program, and we started doing stained glass with him. And he loved it. He loved looking at the glass. He loved the colors of the glass. And his mother, being the amazing advocate she was, as he matured, he left my program and finally aged out of the educational system. She was able to channel money that he was entitled to because of his developmental disability into supporting a stained glass studio for him. And he now is a stained glass artist and makes stained glass. And he's not a high-functioning individual. I would say he's moderately in need. He has some verbal skills, but not, he's not fluent. And he has a lot of interfering behaviors. So he's not a student like Tyler, who has so much promise, which makes this outcome all the more remarkable and wonderful, because she used, and we helped her use, his special interest, which wasn't a savant skill or a splinter skill. It was actually a perseverative behavior. But we were able to put it into a career that gives him a lot of satisfaction and professional success. I guess if I was going to say what my hope for the future of autism would be, it would be that we understand it much more than we currently do. And, there's various levels of understanding. There's the understanding that we as professionals in the field have, and I would love to know even more educational strategies and have access to even more technology that can make a difference in the lives of these people. So that would be one wish. Another wish would be that there was funding available to support the entire spectrum of people with autism to have successful inclusion in the community. And ironically, the group that gets the least support when they age out of educational programs are the high-functioning people, because they don't qualify for support. But because of their social deficits, they often don't have the skills to keep a job, to find a job, to live independently, to have relationships. So if they could have the funding stream to have coaches, short-term assisted living situations that would move to independent living, these are people that could become very, very productive members of the community. And now, sadly, very few of them are. And that's a tragedy, because they have the ability. And then if I was in charge of the universe, I would wish that we understood all the causes of autism, and that autism would eventually go the way of polio, would be a piece of our history, but not a piece of our lives. Because even though people with autism are incredibly interesting individuals, their perceptual differences, their neurologic differences make it very difficult for them to function successfully in this world without a lot of support. And I would wish an easier life for them.